everybody. I'm Kenny Jahng here, checking in with another episode. Today we've got the pleasure of having my friend Bryan Miles from eaHELP on. Welcome to the show today.
What's going on, Kenny? Thanks for the opportunity to be here.
Always great to connect with you either in person or here online. Last we spoke was a couple of years ago here via the interview on the video, and I love the fact that that video interview pops up once in a while when I'm doing some searches for eaHELP. But it's been a while. You guys have gone through a tremendous, I would say, transformation, growth trajectory. Why don't you tell us a little bit about where eaHELP is today?
Yeah, we've had a wild ride since our beginnings in 2010. The ride has taken us to multiple countries with clients that are outside the United States. We're, I think last count, we still lacked clients like in North Dakota and some of the other more sparsely populated areas in our country. But I think we lack 4 or 5 states in the U.S. where we don't have clients. And so, come on, Vermont. I really could use a client from Vermont. But it's been a wild ride where our company has grown sizably in this process. We've developed our corporate team all here in Metro Atlanta. We've got quite a bit of notoriety with media, and it's really, our industry is starting to kind of heat up a little bit. Some new competitors are joining the space, which is great because the industry is still in its infancy. Yeah. There's a lot of opportunity still that's out there. But I'm having a blast. Our company's having a blast. And we've grown collectively. If you look at the last 3 fiscal years, we've grown over 811%.
Wow.
So it's a big number, and I'm extremely grateful. And I'm also feel like we're being really good stewards of the opportunity that's been presented to us.
Wow. Managing that growth must be a wild ride too.
It is. And candidly, I'm a first-time business owner. I hadn't had this opportunity before, so I'm learning as I go, and our management team is as well. Fortunately, we're hiring some really great people these days that have had that experience, so I can lean into them. And I've got a great group of advisors that I lean into quite a bit for their guidance as well.
Awesome. So I've done a lot of outsourcing, tech outsourcing, even VA outsourcing, typically by projects, and it's been, I've been pretty comfortable with that. This is actually the first time I'm now actually personally engaging with eaHELP. So I'm going through that onboarding process where it's the first time I'm hiring a resource that is going to span all my business across all projects. Pretty excited about it. I must say that I'm very impressed with the onboarding implementation process. There's a lot of the secret sauce stuff that eaHELP does that I have not seen anywhere else. Can you give me some advice for me or other prospects as they go through onboarding with an executive assistant, especially someone from eaHELP? What advice or tips can you give in terms of the first 30 or 60 days?
Well, one I would say is lean hard into the experience of the implementation manager we place with you. They work with countless other leaders just like you that are trying to sort out what delegation means for their everyday life.
Yeah.
And also teaching you kind of our best practices for how to work with someone virtually. And I would just default to trust them in that process because sometimes we'll have clients come in and they still got their guard up whether this can really work for them.
Yeah.
I would just encourage you that you'll get a better experience if you can just default to trust real quick with that implementation manager because it's going to translate to a really good start to a relationship with your virtual assistant.
Nice. So
I was going to say one other thing too in that is that make sure you develop a personal in the relationship with your virtual assistant. Really get to know them. They're people. And sometimes this whole virtual thing makes it like they're robots, but they're people on the other side of this, and they want to serve you really, really well.
Right. Yeah, I always say that they're not virtual help or virtual people. It's real people, real help. It's just virtually mediated relationships, right? So there's a big difference in concept there.
That's right.
So now you've grown tremendously. You have tons of clients out there. Can you share with us maybe what's one quirky or weird or unusual thing that you've heard of where a task or a project that an EA has taken on for one of your clients?
Well, fortunately, we have some pretty robust confidentiality agreements in place. So some of the stuff I know I can't share But you would be surprised the types of things that are asked of our EAs to purchase. For wives or for coworkers or for young kids or whatever the crazy thing is, we see a lot of requests, or we hear of a lot of requests that come through, which just kind of make you chuckle. Well, we've had some weird things about instead of, a client just kind of manning up and going and showing their dissatisfaction for something they bought or something like that, they have their assistant do it for them, which is completely ridiculous, but whatever, But I mean, if I were to name names, I would be in deep trouble, so I won't do that.
Very good, very good. I'm sure that the once the trust is built and the execution levels there, that people are just continue to offload anything unusual that they can think of, just to even challenge their EA. Well, to be a great EA, and you're in this business of productivity and really helping your clients up their game in their business or in their workflow, can you share with us what's a tool or resource that we can share with our listeners here today that really is going to give them some 1-2 punch immediately in terms of how they approach their work?
Yeah, well, one I would say is if you're a person that's really considering a virtual assistant, there's plenty of firms out there. Yeah. And they're not all alike. And there's a great resource. There's an organization out there that's third party. I can't pay for a review on this site, but they've reviewed organizations like ours, and the website's virtualassistantassistant.com. It's 2 assistants, so it's virtualassistantassistant.com, and you can go out and find our competitors that are out there, and you can kind of see for yourself what's available. I think it's a great free resource. They're kind of like the Good Housekeeping, the consumer reports of the virtual assistant industry, and they've done a really good job of really objectively going out there and getting reviews that are legit so that people can make an informed decision, and I really encourage that. We're one of many that are on that site. So I think that's just something that's a kind of a practical resource. I'd love to offer to your audience, anybody that would like a free ebook that Mike Hyatt wrote, that I wrote the foreword to, called the Virtual Assistant Solution.
Oh, that'd be great.
I will give you the link so that you could hand that out to anybody who would like it as a free download, and I'll give that to you for your notes or transcription.
Awesome. Thank you very much. I've seen a copy of that, and it actually is very practical. It's step by step. It lays it all out. Great resource for someone who doesn't have that much experience working with remote assistants.
The cool thing, Kitty, with it, what I really like is that there's some tools in the back in terms of how to delegate that I had a hand in developing that we share with our leaders when they're kind of wrestling through, okay, how do I prioritize delegating? What are the things that I delegate? And so in the back of that ebook, there's a good resource on it. We call it the Delegation Matrix.
Yeah, and I think for me, I'm literally going through this process right now. I'm about to release. Someone shared with me recently the thought that entrepreneurship is not about business, it's not about planning, etc. Entrepreneurship is learning how to let go. Yeah, it's that whole process of letting go and building systems and trusting those systems to do its thing and scale. And I think working with an EA is no different. So. I'm sure a lot of your clients have trouble letting go of their calendar, letting go of their email, and other things. But for me, reading some of those resources has been helpful to really trust the process and really say, hey, this is what it's for, and let's give it a try. So I really appreciate that resource. I hope everyone in this audience takes advantage of picking up that ebook as well. So how can people get in touch with you if they want to learn more about eaHELP, or just follow a lot of the stuff that you put out there in terms of productivity and leadership?
Well, there's a couple of resources. One is the eaHELP website. We've got free resources out there and other really meaningful content. We also have our eaHELP podcast that has been pretty well received in the market. It's out on iTunes. And then I have my own personal blog site. It's bryanmiles.me, and it's BRYANMILES.me. And that's where I talk about things that are necessarily related to all things virtual. I talk about leadership and personal development and faith, things that I think through as a leader running our business. And so people are more than welcome to go out there and have, look at that. And my writing style is pretty frank and direct, but it's also short. So, you can knock it out in 17 seconds and move on your way to the next blog. That's my sales pitch. No, it's just a great opportunity for me to be able to. I use it as an outlet to communicate what's on my heart and what I'm thinking about currently.
Great. Well, I appreciate the time that you gave us today. And as I go through this process, maybe we'll do another check-in in another couple of months and see where we are after I have my EA in place. But Bryan, always great to spend time with you. Thank you so much for today.
Kenny, I'm grateful, and I'm extremely grateful that you're becoming a client of ours.
Yes.
I hope we serve you well. If you get a chance to check out our mission, do it, because our goal is to serve a guy like you really, really well. And I appreciate the opportunity for today.
Okay. Thanks, son, and see you guys next time here.